Hello, and welcome to Night Clerk Radio, episode 135, where we are getting into some September new music. I'm Birk, doing a professional introduction, joined by Ross Payton. Hello, Ross.
Hello.
Oh my God.
Hey, it's Ross Payton.
No, you keep that. Nope, wrong podcast.
Okay, it's quarantined to the other podcast.
It's quarantined to RPPR.
Okay, fair enough.
Maybe as like an April Fool's joke or something, we'll do a ontological.
Okay, yeah.
No, you don't get to do the voice, but we can do like a ontological analysis of the history of the cool rat voice. I call it the cool rat voice, the announcer voice.
Yeah, it's definitely the cool rat voice.
Yeah.
Maddie doesn't let me do that voice when it's just us.
I've heard that, and I don't blame them. You know, yeah, like a mock analysis of Cool Rat, like a Night Clerk Radio treatment of Cool Rat would be kind of fun. We've talked about Cool Rat on the show definitely before, because it's a very haunted concept. You know, like what if the animatronics?
I've sketched out outlined a novel that would be in the Base Raiders superhero setting that RPG that I wrote, where Cool Rat is a character.
Sure.
Where he's a magical mascot character brought to life and then imprisoned because he was going a little crazy, and then he breaks out after all the superheroes disappear, and it's about him finding himself and realize
nice
him having a whole Bildungsroman, basically, like
it's not the 90s anymore type discovery. Because that's the thing that would be interesting from Night Clerk is he's very like, as a parody, like the hyper real of the extreme 90s kid advertising, like the era of Capri Sun we turned into liquid to rock music ads type 90s beat. So
I can't believe we're longing for the innocence of the 90s, but here we are.
Well, it's time, right? It's the 20s, and then if you're a forward thinking nostalgist, you're already on the aughts. I mean, that's what a lot of Fruitiger era stuff is.
Yeah,
something to think about. Something to torture the audience with is a Cool Rat.
I do want to write it. I just want to get a couple RPG things written first. But
you gotta target what's more likely to pay the bills first, I guess.
Yeah, at this point,
I don't know if the market's chomping at the bit for the Cool Rat novel, but they should be.
They should. I haven't talked about it much, so they don't know about it yet. So I guess it's
exclusive drop
reveal. Yeah. Be the George R. Martin of podcasting. God. When's the Cool Rat novel going to come out?
Eventually. I'll get Brian Sanderson to finish it.
Yeah. What's that hack doing? He's
God.
not busy, is he?
Yeah. I don't think he's doing it. He's never written anything ever. Hey, so we're doing new music, and as is new music tradition, Cool Rat does not count as one of your shout outs. So you got to do your shout outs. So what you got for me, buddy?
First one is a video game, DLC for a video game. So there's a retro shooter called Cultic, which is very much inspired by Blood. You're shooting robed cultists with, shotguns and throwing dynamite at them. It's a very fun game. Came out a couple years ago, and they just released Chapter 2, which is basically as big as the full game, is my understanding. It came out September 18th, yesterday, as of this recording.
Yeah.
And I've already played a couple hours of it, and it's had some really good bits in it, like going into a not so abandoned shopping mall, and there's creepy mannequins that appear and other things. And so it's really fun to play, just the movement, the exploration, the shooting. So it's got a really good soundtrack and really good aesthetic to it as well. So play Cultic, and Cultic Chapter 2 is now out. So it's very fun.
That's cool. And that's like such a genre of game I'm into, like that 2.5D shooter, like that Doom to kind of Quake era of shooters.
Yeah. Like enemies are like flat. Like
they're sprites.
But there's still like voxel 3D like objects you can throw and stuff like that. So there's like physics in it. So it's kind of a weird hybrid between Duke Nukem and Quake.
That's awesome. Yeah, I'll check that out. Because God, I love Blood and Postal and all those.
Oh yeah, if you love Blood, you'll love this one.
Yeah,
it is
very
like the bad guys. Yeah, the bad guys look exactly like the guys in Blood.
Nice. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Cool. So for my first shout out, I'm also doing something new. From this week, we're doing an album. I don't usually shout out albums, especially on new music. It feels weird. I don't know why. No reason for it to. But we're doing Love Vapor Mechs by Cerecita Spice and Pentium 2. It is off of the record label out of Monterrey, Mexico, and it's a big, long exploration of like various regional Mexican music styles from the 80s and 90s, but taken into the realm of Vaporwave. And it's a really interesting listen because we've always talked about and like a really,
Well, I just looked at the album cover.
Oh,
It's
the album
very
cover.
good.
It's like, it's kind of a floral shoppy vibe, but with replaced cultural signifiers. But it's the same thing when we talk about like signalwave from Europe or Japan or other parts. It's just interesting to see other people's culture experience. I think it's like an interesting medium to share that, even if I don't have all the same nostalgia. Oh, I should also link a video. I have to get it from my friend Rika, who's a friend of the show. And she linked me to this article that's like this semi-comical but true explainer of all these different regional styles, because there's like 20 or 30 like different styles of Mexican sort of pop music depending on where you're from and what your radio played. And it goes through all of them from what's like Tejano versus cumbia and all that stuff. So maybe I'll also include that in the links as an accompaniment to this, so you kind of understand where it's coming from. But
cool,
it's really cool.
My second shout out is, a couple of years ago, Utopia District did the Late Night Lights 2 online festival, but they put out a Blu-ray of all 24 hours of it. And, random times I would pop in one and watch a bit just to see what's on there, because, it's 24 hours of music to get through. So, but I watched a bit of it the last weekend, and one set in particular really stood out to me. Ancient Fan Death Studios did a live set, and you can watch it on YouTube directly, and it's just really interesting plunderphonics music with interesting visuals, and I quite enjoyed it. So if you like, it's like a 20-minute set, and has these like old TV like video that's been really distorted and glitched out, and just really interesting selection of plunderphonics music. So yeah, it's just a cool set.
That's awesome. Yeah, those live shows and stuff are always fun to go back and revisit.
Yeah.
For sure. Cool. So up next for me, I'm doing a little website, a little community project. I'm going to do a shout out for the Minidisc Wiki at minidisc.wiki, link in the comments. It is a fan-maintained resource of pretty much everything anybody ever would need to know about getting into or engaging with Minidisc as a medium. And it's a shame because I actually don't have much Vaporwave on Minidisc. I think I have one. I don't even know if I bought it or just thought about buying it and didn't actually end up getting it. I'd have to go look. It's embarrassing. I should know all the stuff in my physical collection because it's not that big. But I'm trying to... I actually should have gone and looked before I hit record to see if I bought the cassette or the mini disc. This is a hilarious thing to admit on air. I don't remember which one I got a couple of years ago. But I love mini disc like as a concept and as a medium. I mean, I had a player... we've talked about your brother had a player somewhere. I had a player. I fucked with it in the 90s because you can make... It was like an easy way to make your own mixtapes if you didn't have a CD burner. And they were way more durable and reusable and everything. Like, it was a great format. And I was just thinking about their wiki because whenever I look at stuff like on eBay or I think about getting into it, they have like starter guides. They have, here's everything ever made basically that plays mini disc. Here's all these insights into like marketing and all this other stuff. How it was marketed, what was the technology behind it, databases of equipment. And yeah, I was thinking about it because I was just on eBay looking at decks because I was like, I want to put together like a little stereo, actual like sound system area of my basement now that I have room for it. And I was like, I want a mini disc deck in there.
Ooh, yeah.
So I was looking at like these old Sony decks and like, what are ones that are reliable? What should you look out for when buying and that type of stuff. And I just like... I like this curation when people come and put all their collective knowledge somewhere that's accessible instead of just burying it in Discords and Reddit threads and stuff. So,
oh yeah, that's actually a really good point. Yeah, so much knowledge is being hidden away in Discords, and
it's time and money to maintain the website and stuff. So it's much appreciated. Yeah.
And yeah, it's a thankless job. I do like also the mini disc. They also have like the little mini disc cons. Like there was one in Chicago earlier this week, and there's one in Belgium. There's going to be one in Switzerland. Like I like that there's community getting together and meet and, do mini disc things.
Yeah. I'd love to go. I don't have anything to swap, but I would love to go to one of these, like somewhere buy or just buy. I wonder if there's like just lots of mini discs. I'm sure there are on eBay. Just buy blank lots of like grab bag mini discs. And just
for sure.
See what's on there.
Yeah.
Like here's 30 mini discs for $10 or something.
It's probably going to be harder now because like you can't order things on eBay from Japan, or like I read an article saying like,
oh really?
Japanese eBay sellers are adding like $2,000 shipping charges to Americans because they don't want to deal with tariffs or whatever for like camera lenses and that kind of thing. So yeah, but that's, obviously a huge market for mini disc, but like far from the only one. So my third and final shout out is from a article that was linked in our Discord, the Night Clerk Radio Discord. So special thanks to The Eyes Have Hills, which is a great username. It's an article on a old school arcade in Shenyang, China. And it is this guy who's been running it since the 90s. The machines are from the 90s. And it's like how he got started running an arcade, and like all his customers or his mainstay customers are like dudes who grew up with these machines, and now they're in their, you know, they have families and jobs. So they come out here, but like they still make it a habit. Like one guy found out this arcade, you know, grew up with this arcade and moved away, found out the arcade was still there. So he went on vacation, took his wife, his kid, like, look, here's the arcade I grew up in. There's a photo of him with his wife and daughter watching him play King of Fighters or Street Fighter 2. And yeah, but it's just like, you know, I've heard about these kind of stories of like in, you know, in America or the UK or places where like some guys running this as, you know, this small business as a labor of love. And it's really cool to hear about it happening in China. Like this guy just like finding a little niche for himself and just getting by. And like these machines are literally held up with like duct tape at this point. You know, they're just barely hanging on. They've been used quite a bit, but yeah, it's just a neat little slice of life story.
That's cool. Cool. All right. So closing out the shout outs from me. This is like more of a personal one. I don't know. It's not something that you can go click on or whatever, unfortunately. But in the Hot Takes Discord, we just finished a months long rewatch of all of Twin Peaks. So we did seasons 1 and 2. We did the 4-hour fan edit of Firewalk with Me, and then all of The Return. And it was organized by Luxury Noise and Luxury Elite, and complete with like period era commercial blocks between episodes. Well, no, I guess not for The Return. The Return was 2017 and there was still like 90s commercials. But yeah, they put like together commercial blocks and stuff and streamed it every night. And it was a really fun experience. I got to post a bunch of shitty Twin Peaks memes that are awful and make fun of all the terrible, depressing tragedies that happen to characters across Twin Peaks. But I've seen it, I don't know, 10 times. So I'm desensitized to it. I'm sorry. But yeah, it was a lot of fun, and just huge shout out to them for putting that on. It was fun to participate in, and I'm sure there's plans for future watch parties. So
hell yeah. You know, the takeaway for me is like organizing a group watch of like a series or something you really love, like not just like a single movie, can be really fun, you know, like getting together and making it a kind of a ritual, and like, and adding the commercials is such a genius stroke. So like, I really... Yeah, that could be a fun little thing to do in your friend group, is to set aside a time and like, hey, we're going to watch all the movies in the series. We're going to watch this old TV show, and we're going to add in some little extra fun little bits, you know. Yeah. Make it an event, make it special.
It's tricky. I mean, we've talked about it. We've done, coming up on, you know, the end of our 5th year, you know, for March, for lockdown, of doing our, I mean, I've run it almost daily. Yeah. You know, our movie night that we've done that just started, you know, the Long John Silver fuck tub, as it's called in the group. Yeah. The tub. Yeah. And it's funny because like, it's actually hard to find something new to watch every night. Like there's so much, and there have definitely been repeats. You know, we've done like a best of month for the 5 year. I'm sure there's things I've shown more than once for whatever reason. But yeah, you get into like these loopy things of like, you have to make it interesting, where, you know, we had a rule where any series that had more than 5 entries we watched, sometimes like in reverse, sometimes in random order. I think we did Dragonheart by Scrabble score for the title. Was how I organized those. So it's just some completely you know, whatever.
What was we did the Terminator like chronological.
Oh, I did the Terminator chronological, where we watched Terminator, but we watched every timeline split. So we did like Terminator 1, Terminator 2, Terminator 3. And then we did like Salvation, Terminator 1, Terminator 2. And then we did like Terminator 1, Terminator 2, and then Genesis, and then Terminator 1, Terminator. So we watched Terminator 1 like 5 times in like 2 weeks. 1 and 2, which is fine. Those movies slap anyway. Oh yeah. I can watch those on repeat almost. But yeah, we did Terminator like chronologically, but we restarted every branch every time the continuity reset. Yep. That was like, a lot of fun.
I've seen, I think, every single JCVD movie because like,
you and your brother did that, right? You just watched
and some of his friends.
What else are you going to do, right? Just fucking watch.
Yeah. We'll just go down IMDb and just everything he was in. Yep. And I think we missed like 1 or 2, like ones that were unavailable like that. He did 1 or 2 films that aren't available anymore because they were so early. He was just a minor character in them. And we missed a couple that were just cameos or like voice acting, like a minor cameo in an animated film or something like that.
Cool.
But yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, find community and watch shit together, consume media together, I guess. Hey.
Oh, yeah.
What's up?
Yeah. Oh, I just remember the other one I did was watch all of Legends of the Hidden Temple on the RPPR.
Oh, we did do that.
Discord.
Yeah, that's right. That's a fun show.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to get the giant hook and pull you off. It's just like, we're supposed to be doing new music. And
Yeah. No,
I was going to say, speaking
let's
of
get into it.
That's right.
Yeah.
Consume some media together.
You know, babe. You know, babe. You whack. Okay, babe. Here we go. Okay, babe. Here we go. It's time. You know, babe. You know, babe.
And that was a bit from track 2, Wild, off our first album, VIDEOFUNK, by future funk and vaporwave artist FIJI Days. Now, FIJI Days is, or Fiji for short, I'm going to just say, it's one of those artists that's been on my to do a new album when the timing aligned, which for VIDEOFUNK, it thankfully did. We've had her featured on the show before when we did Sanctuary and a couple other festivals. She had sets in those. And I know you've shouted out her Thursday night funkin' sets.
Oh, yeah.
She did the one on Witch House, I think you really liked, if I remember correctly.
Yes.
If I'm not remembering correctly, then sorry. But yeah, so she does DJing shows. Oh, we also came up because she did that big, long history of vaporwave kind of talk lecture at, I think, MagFest last year.
Oh, yeah.
So, frequently appear on the show, but never had an album lineup in a way where we could really talk about it. So Vaporfunk dropped, and I just sort of went for it. I sort of picked it sight unseen, unlistened in some sense. And yeah, it's great. It's we didn't get into it because our intro was kind of a lot of discussion, which is fine. But, I always joke that I like to find common themes between what we pick, because we kind of pick stuff at random. We don't really coordinate.
Yeah, we don't coordinate
at all.
If it's too much effort.
Yeah, we'll coordinate topic episodes, of course, but new music, just pick something.
Yeah.
And I feel like we both went back to some form of comfortable roots where this is really classic vaporwave, signalwave, etc. Just that mellow, a little bit of a pop, but very late night lo-fi kind of retro signalwave aesthetic. And you went for you have cryo chamber, dark ambient is your pick. So we went back to something familiar. And I think this is a really nice example of it. So the liner notes sort of have this sort of story where you find this old floppy disk in your parents' attic, and it's labeled VIDEOFUNK, and you see what's on it, and it's all this, staticky, glitchy vaporwave. It's just vaporwave. We always say, we make a big deal about genres. It's vaporwave, vaporfunk, whatever you want to call it. And I think it's just a super chill listen. A lot of variety, a lot of those samples that tickle my brain, where I'm God, I know what this little key sting is, but I can't place it. It's making me mad.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. I do think it's funny though, you find a floppy disk in your parents' attic, which would never happen because my parents are 80 and can barely turn on a computer. But I get where you're coming from.
Yeah, I also really enjoyed this album. My notes are what if future funk, but also signalwave, because there's a really strong signalwave or lo-fi aesthetic to this track, or to this album rather, where there's a lot of crackle. There's a lot of that lo-fi buzz humming sound, and it's very plunderphonics based. You mentioned, what was this? What was this? And kind of that earworm sort of thing. And so I like this sort of mix where it feels like it was taped over a broadcast late at night from some Japanese radio station, that you're somehow able to pick over the over the airwaves late at night, bouncing off the atmosphere. And yeah, it's very danceable. It's very upbeat, but it's not like EDM or whatever where you're yeah, it's good. I know one of my tracks I put Toe Jam and Earl ass music, complimentary.
That's become one of my favorite compliments for when something has an incredible synth bass line. It's become just Toe Jam and Earl music. in my head because that Genesis soundtrack was so ridiculous.
Oh yeah, no, I love that game just for that soundtrack. And I mean, the gameplay was good too, but yeah.
Oh, totally.
And there's quite a variety of tracks, but they're all super pleasant, super chill, and super fun to listen to. I listened to this. We were delayed a week in recording this episode, so I've listened to this album multiple times, and it's been a joy every time.
That's awesome. I'm glad you like it. Yeah, to your point about genre, I mean, that goes with what in the liner notes she says it's my favorite genres mashed together: signalwave, VHS pop, which we haven't really talked about very much. Mm-hmm. I don't know. It's like a poppy aesthetic of the time. We could probably actually do a whole episode on VHS pop.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, it's a new genre. We should explore it. Yeah,
yeah, and then vapor funk, and you gotta see what that is because there's like this pretty persistent static hum over most of it. Especially on like quieter tracks. You have some louder tracks, you don't hear it as much. But in the quieter tracks, there's a lot of static, a lot of like samples. Not as many like at least obvious like advertisement and vocal samples.
Yeah.
Which is one thing I sort of noticed, but it's not like a criticism. I was just thinking, I was like, oh, that's like the one signal wave thing I think of is like what kind of like consumer media like is stuck in your brain.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, these could be like backing tracks from commercials or something.
They could be. You know? They could be. Yeah. I'm just so used to, again, this is not a complaint. I'm just so used to like tracks being broken with like try Folgers, stuff like that. I was like, oh.
Looping like 3 seconds of a Chanel commercial.
Exactly.
Narrator.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I see you, infinity frequencies.
Yeah, yes, you do. But I liked your point also about variety of tracks, which is also like totally true. Where at first it started off in track 1 Discovery. I don't think I'm gonna go through every track, but track 1 Discovery was so just because to me, like I wasn't quite sure what to expect because it almost sounds like a procedural theme, like slightly upbeat. I don't know why, like that. I think it's that bass. It's not really technically a pedaling, but there's like that like long bass sustain, and then there's little staccato like horns and keys and drums over it. And I always think of that as being like, some like law procedural. Mm-hmm. And it's like it's less than a minute, so it feels like very theme songy because it kind of gets in and gets out. But it kind of then immediately goes into the track I sampled, and then from there you get a whole taste of different moods, different samples. What am I trying to say? Like I'm thinking of like other highlight tracks for me. There's some great sax sample coming through in track 4, Love So Good.
Oh yeah, good sax.
Which is like more mellow. Mm-hmm. I think those are the kind of tracks that are the strongest to me, are those ones that have like a lot of like sax and beats but aren't like totally into future funky. Just personally, I guess closer to R&B is I think how I would describe it in those samples.
Yeah, I noticed the R&B influence more in the later half of the album, but yeah, for sure. Mm-hmm. Especially like track 10 and 11. But like, I think my favorite track is track 8, the title track, VIDEOFUNK. Mm-hmm. It's got this sort of like interesting kind of like wobbly nature. It's very chill. It's almost like lo-fi hip hop, but like not as formulaic as the stuff you hear. I listen to lo-fi hip hop, but like it's more complex. It's more interesting to me than like a standard lo-fi hip hop track. But like, I mean, it's still also in that halfway vapor funk, half like lo-fi hip hop. If that makes sense.
I think also what makes that kind of track stand out for me is there's like this like, at least to me, there's maybe it's not technically a glitch, but there's like a little bit of like an awkward jump reset in some of the synths where they kind of cut and then come back in. If you listen like the first, like to me, but it's not as strong as like other tracks that have a lot of blatantly glitchy parts to them. Like track 12, Not Tonight, has like kind of like little resets and glitches in it to me.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So there's a little bit of that. I don't know. My floppy disk is deteriorating because I've been playing it too much, I guess.
Ooh, yeah, that could be a theme. Yeah, oh my God, Fiji's caretakering the vapor funk.
Oh my God. Yeah, floppy disks. I don't know if they're a durable medium. I don't know.
They're not. They're absolute shit as a medium. So. Yeah, they're terrible. I actually got a floppy disk reader to read some old floppy disks a while ago. It was just a pain.
Brutal.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So I do want to like give people an example of the variety of tracks we had. So Wild's that first track was like very beat driven, down a little low key down tempo, but still pretty like staticky and driving. And then as a counterpoint, I'm going to play track 10, I'm Not All Right. And this matches into more of what we were saying when we have like an R&B type sample. It's a lot of static, a lot of hum, very mellow, just super chill, not just really the opposite of the first sample. But even that one's pretty low key. There's probably, if I wanted to like really give the range of tracks, there probably even maybe better choices for the like really upbeat funk track. Like 5 in my system. Track 5 is like really, to me, energetic just because as whenever you have those like really high pitched keys, those really high pitched synths, that always stands out to me. Like feels more energetic. I think it.
Yeah, that guitar. It's great.
Yeah. So awesome album. Really fun exploration. Makes me want to do an episode just on VHS pop.
Yes, we definitely should do that.
That'd be a fun thing to do. See what's going on there. Because it's been a while since we've done like a genre focus. I think because I got sick of genres and worrying about it. But I think that's worth revisiting. And this album's definitely worth checking out.
And that is a sample from a Sacred Moment track 1 from Leviathan by NoRinTon, the newest artist on the Cryo Chamber label with their post-rock / dark ambient album, a deep atmospheric post-rock dark ambient journey that filled with ever-growing and flowing soundscapes that wave in and out of electronic textures. Whoever writes the copy for the Cryo Chamber albums is just doing is a masterful wordsmith. So yeah, this is their one of their newest albums. I think they've already released another album. Cryo Chamber is pretty prolific.
Might have had a few in the chamber. Yeah. Or sorry, do you mean another one just on Cryo Chamber or another one?
Yeah, just on Cryo Chamber as a label.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah. I thought there were maybe 2 from this artist already.
NoRinTon has released their own music. They have their own website, NoRinTon.com. And I've listened to some of their other stuff, and it's very similar in its own way. Structurally, the artist is exploring dark ambient with like this post-rock influence in there. But yeah, he, according to their artist bio, they were born in 1997, known for atmospheric and dark ambient soundscapes shaped by synthetic textures and immersive frequencies. So yeah, I really like this album. Cryo Chamber Dark Ambient is kind of like comfort music for me. Like I do listen to it, especially at night when I'm just chilling, winding down for the day. And this popped up, and so I listened to it. I really liked it because this album does have a post-rock influence to it. It's not like as intense as say like Godspeed You Black Emperors or Swans, but like there's a lot of this like sort of wandering guitar and rock sensibility to it that makes it, I like the juxtaposition of the soundscape, the layered ambient synths with the wandering, journeying nature of post-rock. So yeah, I have listened to this quite a few times already. So yeah, it's a very meditative album. But it's more than just a drone album, I think. It's
Sure.
Yeah. What were your thoughts?
Yeah, it's funny because we haven't really thought about this subset of dark ambient in a while. We were doing like doom jazz and like other forms of dark ambient. So it's a return to form to hit up Cryo Chamber again. It's interesting because like other than the post rock makes sense now that I hear it and see it in the liner notes. I didn't really think about it much while the album was playing. But yeah, I liked it. So starting with like the first track, I immediately liked these like vocalizations that come in.
Oh yeah.
There's like really soft vocals. And I don't know why, like the thing with some dark ambient and Cryo Chamber, which I guess their whole brand, they've always said, cinematic dark ambient and everything, right? Is that you do immediately start to like form visual pictures. Like I very much interpret it as a soundtrack for something that doesn't exist. It's almost always my default mode of listening to this. I don't know why. It's not like a conscious decision. So I was almost thinking of like, the beginning was almost like a futuristic. I was thinking of the Gladiator soundtrack.
Oh yeah.
Which has all the vocalizations over it. I was like, it's like Future Gladiator. Gladiator 3. Now I can't be Gladiator Future anymore because that exists. But yeah, I think I find this type of stuff very evocative. Like it's very easy to kind of listen to and form like scenes and thoughts and stuff in your head, which is very unique to the genre. So like the Awakening Leviathan, I really liked a lot of the synths on that. There's kind of these builds that happen. Stuff.
Track 6. Yeah.
Yeah. Track 6.
Yeah. There are a couple, like those two tracks in particular feature other artists. Track 1, The Sacred Moment, features Caught in a Moment. I believe they're the singer. And then track 6 features Patros 15. So yeah.
Okay. Which kind of makes sense because it does have like a very different kind of like synth texture to it, I guess is how it describe it. Those tracks have like a different energy and a different texture compared to, I guess there's a couple that feature. I'd have to think about the other two that have featuring artists on them, tracks 2 and 3. But I just think of compared to like track 9, which is like feels very much like a sci-fi kind of soundtrack to me.
Yeah, very
like,
suspense music.
Very suspenseful, investigative is an adjective I use a lot for that type of stuff. I feel like I'm trying to figure out what's going on. I'm, if there was something kind of like that, but the tracks were like 20 minutes long, they would be great for like a game of Mothership or something. Oh yeah.
There's like, probably a way to loop these or like. Get
sure, you could.
Yeah.
It's not quite the same because of kind of that build resets and they craft them to these lengths for very specific reasons. It's what feels right to them when they're creating. I imagine.
Well, they're still releasing to physical media too. Like they're
that's true.
They put everything on CD, and I think they have
that's right.
People still buy CDs, so like I think that's a lot of their fan base.
Yeah, I think my Vista's CD just shipped. We buy them.
Yeah, it reminded me I also got that like cinematic like storytelling or narrative aspect. I reminded me of, I put in my notes, a AAA video game OST or perhaps a prestige TV sci-fi show where people frown while they watch a CGI disaster happening on a screen or walk through a carefully designed apocalyptic landscape set piece.
Okay.
It's not really a passive soundscape though to me. This album does have this really good trying to provoke a sense of wonder and senses of loss. Like these kind of swelling crescendos that hint at leviathans appearing out of the depths. Different tracks have a different emphasis. Some are more on the sense of wonder and some are more the sense of loss, very mournful. And one of the more like Leviathan appearing, oh my God, here's this intense thing. Why don't we play another sample, which is track 7, Bleeding Binary. That track has a lot of the guitars. That's the post-rock feeling I was talking about. So yeah, it's a really good mix of like sort of bringing you out of like this drone thing and like, oh shit, something is happening. And then, oh, okay, now we're going back down. It's not, so intense that you're going to get distracted by it. But like, it's not just like I turned an ambient sound machine on and let it run for an hour. I programmed my analog synths to loop around and change it a couple ways, and that's it. Yeah, this is more considered. So
Sure.
I'm going to be looking forward to see what NoRinTon does in the future. But like, I think this is a good start for their cryo chamber tenure, if you want to call it that.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah. I'm trying to like look at some other tracks, just figure out which ones I want to highlight that are maybe slightly different than what we talked about. So I really like track 4, Cinder Crafters, which had like kind of this like cool warbling pulsing in some of the synths.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I really liked. And then I actually think some of the mellow tracks in the back half, like when you talk about like melancholy or loss or longing, I guess it also works out with the title, but track 11, Graveyard of Dreams.
Oh yeah.
Also kind of worked for that. Like that's very like these just big wide soundscapes, a little closer to being drone than some of the others, where just kind of like hanging
Airy,
out.
yeah.
Airy and just hanging out. Like, these big wide breathing soundscapes were really, really
You have to say
interesting.
track 10, Ashbringers, reminded me a bit of World Clock, another cryo chamber artist we've done. It has that sort of buzzing, or that hissing and that complex strings. It reminds me of some World Clock's album.
Oh yeah, that was the one with the string work. Yeah, so another thing with any of these dark ambient is when some of that other non-synth instrumentation comes in, like guitars and strings and like acoustic pianos.
Yeah,
especially if
I'd love to hear it.
Yeah, so I think especially when you get those types of extra little bits of texture, it works. And yeah, I think this was like for me the right time, kind of heading into Halloweenish, heading into fall. So it's definitely a nice transition from a lot of the summer music we were doing. It's kind of like maybe the end of that era. So we come up on moving officially out of summer. And I also think it's just been a long time since I checked out what Cryo Chamber's doing, because we did so much Cryo Chamber in like our first 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
Where it was like, oh yeah, I kind of remember. Yeah, I remember what I liked about this, even if I started to feel oversaturated by it at times.
Oh, sure.
I think it was the right amount of time off for me.
Yeah. It's like look up the artists and see what they've released on their own outside of Cryo Chamber.
Yeah.
Found that pretty good. Like Dead Melodies, I really like. They just released the Statica Sessions, just like an hour and a half long of this like radio static and weird synth soundscapes coming up. It's really good as like ambient music. So, but yeah, there's Cryo Chamber stuff that I listen to. I'm like, it doesn't, there's a lot of hit and miss for me with Cryo Chamber.
Yeah, which is going to happen because it's a huge stable of artists and they're releasing stuff all the time.
Exactly. But yeah, I listen to a lot of their stuff. They still put out a lot of mixes on YouTube of little sampler packs of all their different artists, along a given theme. So a good way to check it out without having to like listen to full albums. So yeah.
And I think your point about using it as a way to find out about artists and then seeing what they're doing on their own is really good. Definitely.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for listening. Hope you enjoyed checking out these 2 albums with us. And if you did, let us know. If you got some September music you really dug, definitely like to hear what other people are checking out. Hey, next episode, it's the beginning of the spooky season. It's October. So we're going to do, I said something spooky, but I think throughout this discussion, some little side core in my brain was figuring out what I want to do. I think we're going to revisit some horror video game soundtracks. We did a couple years ago, we did Signalis, which is an amazing game and an amazing soundtrack. So I think we're going to do a kind of a little survey of what's going on in the horror video game soundtrack world, see what people are making, see if there's anything interesting out there. So no specific albums picked yet. Hey, there's time to let us know if there's something you think is really, really good in that space.
Hell yeah.
If you like what we do and you want to hear more of it, we have a Patreon, Night Clerk Radio at patreon.com. Got rewards. We got our Discord server. We got 50 some bonus episodes, a bunch of other stuff. I've written my Star Trek episode. I just have to sit down and record it. So, hey, we're going to talk about Star Trek if you're into that. Anywhere else you can find us, Night Clerk Radio. You can find us at Blue Sky at Night Clerk Radio. Ross is Ross Payton on Blue Sky. We got nightclerkradio.com at gmail.com. Got a website. Don't go to Facebook anymore. Yeah. And wherever you do choose to check us out, take a moment, do that rate, review, call to action. It actually does help. And as we always say at the end of this, go out and build community. I just got done spending, I don't know, one night a week for 6 months or whatever, watching Twin Peaks with the community. And it was awesome. We have our tub community where you watch movies almost every night. It's awesome. Find your people, hang out with them, share some great new music with them. So thank you so much again. And we'll catch you next time. Bye. Bye.